Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome back to another Assassin Apocalypse. For today we are going to take a look at Kali. First off, I want to make a note that this is of course still in the 3.7 patch. Since 3.8 the Hell Arena isn't there anymore, as well as the bonus round, which is quite unfortunate. I did enjoy the bonus round a lot, but I guess it's fine. So let's just start off with Kali and start off with her passive, and it's probably the most important passive for a lot of gods, but it makes Kali Kali. So above my portrait you can actually see the portrait of Zhong Kui with a name underneath it. This is the enemy Zhong Kui and this is my target for now. This target will grant me multiple things. If I kill my target, I will get 30% additional gold from him. I have on my target additional penetration. The penetration is 10% plus 1% per level. So when I'm higher level I will get more penetration against my target, which is very strong, especially against more tanky targets, to allow you to deal more damage to them, allow you to kinda make sure you can kill them. So if you kill them, you don't only get more gold out of them, but you'll actually heal from them as well. You will heal 80% of your maximum HP when you kill your target. So if I'm almost dead and I do kill my target, I get increased health instantly. Well, not increased health. I heal myself instantly for 80% of my maximum health, which is insane. If I get the assist on my target, I actually get healing as well, but it will be only 15% of my maximum health. So even though it is not as much at all, it is still something, so it might help you in a certain situation. And as you can see, actually Honor is able to pick up the Zhong Kui, and you saw I got healing from it because I was in assist range. Let's see, can we hit some damage? No, nice gap shield, prevents me from killing the Kali. And already let my team know I hate gap. Gap is very good at making sure they survive a CC or just straight up burst with that additional health from the shield. So that is almost the entirety of the passive. The target you acquire is random at first. You will get one of the 5 gods, so you might be lucky, you might have bad luck. Getting Zhong Kui, not the best one, to be honest. Gap is probably the worst of them all. The squishy is usually better. For instance, now I have Zeus as target. It is selected randomly, unless I get killed by someone. If I get killed by someone, they will become my target. For instance, if Zeus was able, well, if at this point Jingwei was able to kill me, she will become my target until either I die again to someone who isn't Jingwei, or she dies and there is a random target selected. So that is something to take into account. It is completely random. It can fuck you over, but it can also, well, it can also help you a lot. For instance, if you get your target, you get a target that's already nearby, you can get him as well, healing yourself up again and again. She can basically get a penta if she plays it correctly, but she needs to get some items alive for it. So, enough about the passive. I've been rambling on about the passive for the entire game already, but let's cover the abilities. So my first ability is a leap. It deals damage, and it will also heal me when I hit someone. How much will it heal me? It will be healing for 20% of the target's missing health. So if someone is very low and I'm able to jump onto them, I will heal a good amount of my health back. It all depends on how much health they have. So for instance, if I leap on a tank that is building full HP and is almost at 0 HP, I can leap on him, get 20% of his missing health, which might even be like half my HP, depending on how much he has built. So it can be an effective one. If you level it up, it will only increase the amount of damage you deal with it, so not the healing. The second ability is Lash. You've seen me use it a couple of times already, actually a lot of times. It is an ability and you throw out sights or knives or blades or whatever you want to call them any target hit will be, will receive a damage over time on them. This damage over time will last for 3 seconds and hit every single half a second. So it will hit 6 times in total. And it just deals an insane amount of damage altogether. So, it has additional effects to it as well. If you hit a target, you will have additional lifesteal on him. You will have 5% up to 25% lifesteal on the target that is hit by your bleed. This can be very important if you're onto someone. You bleed them, you will lifesteal upon them. And this can be very helpful, making sure you, for instance, get your target before you die. Which is very important because you basically reset your entire health bar with it. Which is nuts, by the way. It is an interesting one. You will throw out 3 knives. Ooh, got picked up. Nice shockwave. Didn't expect so much damage. Otherwise, I would have used my ultimate. I'll get back to that later. The knives will be thrown out into a kind of, well, arc way. The 2 on the side will hit in an arc, and the middle one will just go straight forward. And if you hit someone in the center of it, it will deal additional damage. If you use it close, then it's almost guaranteed with your third ability. But hitting 3 blades will not increase the duration or the amount of damage they receive from the dot, but it does increase the amount of damage it does altogether. And as you can see, you can still miss it. It is quite narrow, so you do need to aim somewhat for it. But at this point, I go into my ultimate, try to go for him. But I am able to leap away. Might be dying to Zeus detonate. Does look like he has it up. So I am able to escape, just barely. But I guess that's fine. So, his third ability is basically a stun that is stunning opponents nearby. And as you can see, I use it to get the gap, making sure I deal a good amount of damage. With the entire team there, I'm not going to chase down the gap, even though he is my target and I do have my 1-up. There are a lot of minions, a lot of enemy guards. I don't want to risk it at all. So, interesting point about this stun. It lasts 1 second, but when you use it, you will get physical power. And this physical power is 10 to a maximum of 50 additional physical power for using your 3. Just using it. You don't have to hit anyone with it. It will just give it to you passively for 4 up to a maximum of 8 seconds when you have maxed it out. That's also the reason why I max out my 2 first for the additional lifesteal and just the burst damage. And after that I max out my 3 for the additional power and the duration from that power buff. Which is just insane amount, because 50 power is a lot. That's an entire item for the physicals. It's even more than the boots I currently have. So that is just insane to get for 8 seconds when you stun. Or not stun, just use it on the regular. For instance, you can also use it just flat out, get the buff, and for instance help you finish off a tower quickly. That's also an option. So that's an interesting mechanic to it. And I like to level that one up first. You can also level up your 1 for the more burst potential with your leap. I generally like to use it more as an get close tool or to escape, and not too much for the damage it does. So her ultimate, which is also very important to her kit, her ultimate is basically a get out of jail free card. She will go into her ultimate and she can't die for the entire duration of her ultimate. Her ultimate lasts for 4 to 5 seconds. 4 seconds at rank 1, 5 seconds at the maximum rank, and in between you get 0.5 seconds in addition. So, it will cause you not to die. It will deal damage over time in an area around you. It is a decent, it's not an awful lot of damage, but it is damage. It will hit every half a second for the entire duration, so it can help you finish someone off that is, for instance, your target, which unfortunately at this point is the gap, which makes things a little bit more difficult. You need to be a bit careful, a bit in an awkward spot in between a lot of the enemies. And can I get the Zeus? And with my sprint, nice sanctuary actually, barely avoiding the knockup. At this point I can use my ultimate, and here you can see it in practice. Decent amount of damage. Not enough to finish her off, I think. No, the bleed is not enough. She has barely any health left, but it is enough to get away. So, it deals damage over time. Like I said, you can't die for the duration. If you're at, you can also not be executed. That's not an option you have. And there's a bit more to it. You're immune to knock up and knock backs. You're immune to slow and you're immune to root while you are in your ultimate. Also, when you're below 15% health, when the ultimate is over, when the time has expired on your ultimate, you will heal up to 15%. Okay, so that is all abilities. Good amount of healing parts in our kit. Life steal when you hit someone with your 2. The healing on your 1 when someone is missing health. Killing a target or getting assist on your target will provide you health as well. And your ultimate can heal as well. So a good counter to Kali is actually healing reduction. So if I have my ultimate used for a couple of seconds or a second or so, and for instance I get ulted by Saket, I'm guaranteed to die if I'm not in a team with a Gap or a Capri. Because the healing I would get from my ultimate, the up to 15% maximum health, will not go through when I have my healing reduced by 100%. So counter healing options are very powerful against Kali. Also the amount of healing I get from my target are reduced as well. So just an awful lot of options. Nice juke by the Zhong Kui, and at this point rollout is down by the Gap. Actually get thrown out of my range. And unfortunately enough, I'm not able to get my target. He throws him out of my reach. I would have been able to finish him off. Could have healed myself up to full. Instead, I got 15% health only. And the detonate from the Zeus was enough to finish me off. So that was a bit rough. So, like I said, healing reduction works very well as well. If you know someone, if you know Kali's target, for instance, Kali got killed by someone, I got killed by Zeus now, so he might know that I have him as a target, then they can save him or make sure I don't get the healing by healing reducing, for instance with Curse or any other healing reduction item, to make sure I don't get the amount of healing I could have. But that is an option to counter build. So enough about the counter build. Let's go over my build. Let's go over the build I'm going for. So I went for the power boots. I like the power boots because you have a lot of burst with it too, and a lot of people underestimate that. You can deal a decent amount of damage with your basic attacks. The attack chain on Kali is very high, so you will have an insane amount of attacks that you can get into the battle with your attack speed chain. And to augment that, I went for an Equival second item. You can go into chins immediately, but I like to get an additional attack speed item before, and just to make sure I get the most out of my chins. The Equival also provides a bit of pen, a bit of early power. It's quite cheap, 30% additional attack speed, so it's very good on her. It is a bridge item, you might elect to not go for it, but I guess that's fine. So I went for the chins next. And the chins is definitely something that you have to get on Kali. It is the best item for Kali in the long run. If you get it on her, her damage is almost doubled from her basics. And that is just insane. Especially against tankier targets or targets with a lot of health. You just burst them down so incredibly quickly. That is just nuts altogether. Get this item online on Kali, always. After that I went for the Hastenet Fatalis. Hastenet Fatalis, very good item for her as well. It allows her to stick to her target, get her target, heal up to 80%, get to her next target, stick to that target. If you don't get bursted or CC'd, into the Oblivion. Or if you're low enough, you can use your ultimate to survive, etc, etc. If you get your target, it will just help you a lot. But like I said, healing reduction is a good option. But a lot of people don't actually build healing reduction against the Kali, because it doesn't help you against her damage. And her damage, especially late game, is just insane. And as you see, a decent amount of damage already on the Zeus. At this point I can just use my ultimate. I might be able to chase up, and I can, and I'm healing up to full. He can't detonate because he's dead, and I elected to go away. I could have probably went for it. I wasn't sure what my position of the team as well as the enemies were. I knew a lot of enemies were around me, but also a lot of my teammates were, I think they were quite far away. Ooh, nice. Well done by the Zhong Kui, by the way. He still was able to pick up the Vulcan. I was able to pick up him with the bleed, with the dot on my second ability. But well played on that part. Okay, so the fifth item is an interesting one. It is a bit of preference, I guess, it is Wing Blade. So what this allows you to do is chase up to the targets even more. You will have additional movement speed on it, as well as additional health. Additional health can help you out a lot as well, but it also makes you immune for slow for a good amount of duration. For instance, when you go for it and I get a ticket from Zhong Kui or a chain lightning from Zeus, I get slowed. But with the Wing Blade I'll just get more movement speed. Allows me to chase up to them even easier, kill them, and if I am slowed again I can also go for my own ultimate, making me immune for slows again. So there are good options with it. It is optional. You don't always have to get it. This time I liked it a lot. And you can see I go for Executioner. The reason I'm going for Executioner this time is because they do have some good amount of protections on the Zhong Kui as well as on the Gap. And since Gap has been a target a few times already, and since I'm Kali with a lot of attack speed, I can get this online very quickly. Actually, I get my target, get second target. Gap was my target. I got him as well, got the reset, got the double kill. Luckily enough, I actually finished off the Kali mid-air with my bleed, otherwise I would probably have died. But with that target, actually additional target as well, I got so much healing. And that is her strength. She has an insane amount of burst potential, especially late game when she's fully built. And when you get the reset, they can dump a lot of abilities on you. You get the reset, 80% of your health back. It's like they didn't even use their abilities, except they're on cooldown now. So, you'll see me do something interesting. This is something I wanted to try out because they work quite fast at some points, and this kind of deters them a lot and also allows me to have a little bit more of health. I don't recommend this one. It is definitely not good for your maximum amount of damage, but in this particular game I thought it might be a good one. So I went for a Frostbound Hammer. I swapped out Ikeval. Ikeval is more of an early game item to begin with, so it is an option you can go for. It is quite disgusting, to be honest, because there's literally no way for them, if they don't have anything as for slow, immunity or escape, to get away. But I can stick to them with the Hasten It, with the Wing Blade, as well as the additional movement speed. And you can see the attack speed reduction on the Kali. He has nothing on me. Nothing can be done against that. Kali against Kali. Doesn't matter how far she is in her build. With that Frostbound, I can just battle her at any point, because I reduce her attack speed, which is great. There are a few other options which are great as well. You can go for a Titan's Bane instead of a Executioner. It allows you to have the maximum amount of penetration as well, but instantly. So it might allow you to go for a much heavier burst. It does reduce. It doesn't give any. Well, it doesn't give you any attack speed, so that might throw you off a bit. Not going for my target. Ooh, that sucked. Oh, and he got away as well. Now he's my target. That is rough. I should have just went for my target. Probably would have been the safest bet, but I guess it's fine. So, Titan's Bane is an option for the penetration instead of the Executioner. Kind of depends on what you're going for. If you're in any game mode with towers, it's probably better to get Titan's Bane because Executioner does nothing on towers. Also, a good item is... Oh, what is it called? It is quite luxury item. It provides you attack speed. It reduces the penetration. Actually, the protection, the physical protection on your enemies when you attack them. Oh man, I'm kind of mad I forgot the name. I'll put it in a note here above. But that item is very good on her as well. Provides her additional attack speed, a lot of power, 50 power on it, as well as reducing protections and granting her protections for it, which is just great altogether. As you can see, I do need to be a bit careful. I'm surrounded by the enemy. I don't have my ultimate up, so I don't have the best opportunity. At this point we are kind of losing. We are behind by a bit. I might be able to go for the Gap though. Gap's slowed by a lot. I can stun him out of his dash. I might be able to pick him up. He doesn't have anything actually. And I will be able to pick him up. Actually no. Chin Chan is able to pick him up. Doesn't matter too much since the healing wasn't too important at this point. And as you can see, it also works on buffs. I healed 227 by reducing the health on the buff as low as possible, then jumping onto it. It can be an option to heal up. It also works on Gold Fury and Fire Giant, I think, so it can heal you up by a lot. At this point we are exactly even, 9 to 9, wave to wave, just straight up even. If I'm able to pick up my target, it will help out a bunch. Although it is, of course, a pretty tanky Zhong Kui, so not the best target to get, but I guess that is fine. So, also another item that is also very good on Kali is Odysseus Bow. It provides you 40% attack speed and insane amount of chain lightning action, just for the fact that she has that insane amount of attack speed. She can proc it an extreme amount of times. So if you want to have the highest damage build on Kali, you will need to swap out the Frostbound for the Oboe, the Odysseus Bow. You have to swap the Winged Blade for the item I forgot the name about. That provides some movement speed, 50 power, etc, etc. Actually, Zhong Kui uses his ultimate. I go into my ultimate, making sure I don't die to his. He is using sprint. Actually, Vulcan secures that kill. I get an assist, but this is rough. Now I have Gap as a target. It is completely random, so it kind of screwed me over, because in a bonus round it might be very difficult for me to pick up the Gap. Especially since the Kali and the Zeus and the Jingwei can do such an insane amount of damage. But we'll see what we can do. And like I said, to round out that high damage build, Executioner swapped out for the Tides Bane. I think you have the maximum amount of damage you can get. Probably the best thing. Let's see, can we go for this? Zeus uses beats. Actually, the Gap is very low now because he was thrown into the lava. I might be able to get him. I use my ult to make sure I don't die. Make sure I get this one. No! Oh no, the Skadi actually kill stealed it. If she didn't, I had to reset. I could have killed a lot of them. But she actually got that kill. If she didn't take that kill, I might have been able to pick up a lot more of them, because I would have gotten a new target. Might have been able to reset myself again, killing even more of them. That was very rough. If she didn't do that, then we might have been able to win the bonus round, but at this point we lost it. As you can see, insane amount of damage, especially late game is just insane. Was very unfortunate though that the Skadi decided to actually get a kill at the last moment, when she should not have. Because actually when someone is below a certain percentage of their health, it will actually show to my teammates who is the target. So that he is the target, so she actually knew it. That's also something that is important, and especially in this point, at this part, she should have let me have the kill, get the reset. We might have been able to win that entire fight, but because I wasn't able to get the target, only got 15% health regen, got finished off instantly, because I only had 15% health at that point, and got finished off entirely. As you can see, the enemy Kali went for an almost similar build, kinda. She went for attack speed boots. You can have some arguments for it as well. I don't like it, but that's my opinion. It is a good option as well, especially for Kali, because she relies on attack speed a lot. She also went for a Masumi, the 5th item. It is pretty good as well. When someone has high health, she has more power against them. But since you shred someone so quickly with the chins, might be a better option to go for the other item that also provides 50 power and 10% movement speed. I guess that's fine. Titus Bane, a very good pickup. I don't like the Titus Bane and the Executioner, but I guess she wanted to hit more on Xinjiang. I guess that's fine. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something about Kali. And as always, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.